eyes of the college football world will be on one state today, and that state is Oklahoma. Why? Because there are not one, but two massive showdowns going down in Oklahoma today. First, about 40 minutes from now at 4 p.m. Eastern Time in Stillwater, Oklahoma, the number 12 Utah Utes begin conference play in their new conference, the Big 12, as they head into Bonne Pickens Stadium in Stillwater to take on the number 14 Oklahoma State Cowboys. So, earlier in the week, Utah was a 2-point road favorite, but now that line has flipped, and Oklahoma State is now a 1-point favorite. And I think that's because Utah's starting quarterback Cam Rising is going to be a game-time decision today because of an injury to his hand. So, I think this is going to be a very physical, low-scoring football game. I've got Oklahoma State upsetting Utah. I'm going to say Oklahoma State wins 23-17. And then you've got a massive showdown happening in Norman, Oklahoma at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit will be on the call for this one. Number 6 Tennessee, led by former Oklahoma Sooner Josh Heupel, head into Norman, Oklahoma, Memorial Stadium, to take on the number 15 Oklahoma Sooners. The Sooners, this is their inaugural game in the SEC, and what a stage to do it on. You've got the high-flying Tennessee Volunteers, who have scored at least 50 points in their first 3 games of the season. It's been a little bit more of a mixed bag for Oklahoma, but they can still score. But I expect this to be a fantastic football game. And College Game Day was in Norman for this matchup between number 6 Tennessee and number 15 Oklahoma. Their second of 3 straight SEC matchups College Game Day will be going to, because last week they were in Columbia, South Carolina for LSU against South Carolina. Like I said, this week they were in Norman, Oklahoma for Tennessee against Oklahoma. And next week, in what was probably one of the worst kept secrets ever, they will be going to Tuscaloosa, Alabama for number 2 Georgia against number 4 Alabama. I fully expect Nick Saban to get a hero's welcome when College Game Day rolls into Tuscaloosa next week, because, well, we all know the success and legacy Nick Saban built at Alabama. I don't need to go through all those accolades. So, I fully expect it. Hey, speaking of Alabama, I actually had a bit of a hot take last week. Because last week, Alabama played Wisconsin at Camp Randall Stadium. And Wisconsin has a track record of upsetting higher-ranked teams when they play in Camp Randall. Remember back in 2010, number 1 Ohio State rolled into Camp Randall to take on the number 18 Wisconsin Badgers. And Wisconsin completely stomped Ohio State. A few years later, I think in 2017, a highly ranked Michigan team came into Camp Randall to play the Wisconsin Badgers, and Wisconsin beat them. So Wisconsin has a track record of upsetting higher-ranked teams in Camp Randall. So I put out a hot take that Wisconsin would do it again to Alabama. Well, I was clearly wrong, because Alabama just rolled in that game. So, but that leads me to something else. Fox Big Noon Kickoff. So far this season, they've been to Morgantown, West Virginia for the game between Penn State and West Virginia. Then they were in Ann Arbor, Michigan, alongside College Game Day for the showdown between Texas and Michigan. Last week, they were in Madison, Wisconsin for the game between Alabama and Wisconsin. And so this week, I thought they would be in Stillwater, Oklahoma for the showdown between Utah and Oklahoma State. I know that game's kicking off later in the day, but that game is still airing on Fox. So I thought Big Noon Kickoff would be in Stillwater. Nope. Instead, Big Noon Kickoff today was in Columbus, Ohio for a game between Marshall and Ohio State. A game in which Ohio State was favored by 40. And I'm just like, wait, Fox Big Noon Kickoff. I thought you were supposed to be Fox's equivalent of ESPN's College Game Day, where you go to the biggest games. If that's the case, why did you go to Marshall, Ohio State, where Ohio State is a 40-point favorite, when you could have gone to Stillwater, Oklahoma for a huge top 14 showdown that could have massive college football playoff ramifications when Utah takes on Oklahoma State? I don't get it. So, Big Noon Kickoff, to me, you just lost a lot of credibility. And College Game Day, I love that show even more now. But again, I wish I was in the state of Oklahoma today, because I would be trying to go to at least one of these two matchups. Probably the one in Stillwater between Utah and Oklahoma State. But you're damn right. I am going to have my butt on my couch in my favorite spot, and I am going to watch every second of the Tennessee-Oklahoma showdown tonight, because I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I've got Tennessee winning this game somewhat comfortably in the end, because I just don't know how much I trust Oklahoma's defense against the high-flying Tennessee offense. So I'm going to say Tennessee spoils Oklahoma's SEC debut by winning, I'll say 41-27. And as for Utah against Oklahoma State, which kicks off in about approximately a half an hour, I think Oklahoma State holds serve on their home field and upsets Utah. I'm going to say Oklahoma State wins 23-17. A bit of a lower scoring game, just because of the fact that Cam Rising is a game time decision for Utah. I think Oklahoma State gives Utah a taste of their own medicine by relying heavily on the run game. I saw how Oklahoma State can be a very resilient team by defeating Arkansas a few weeks back. I think the Cowboys use that to their advantage, and they beat the Utah Utes. But it is going to be a great day of college football. You've got USC making their Big Ten debut today in Ann Arbor against the Michigan Wolverines, a game that kicks off in about 3 minutes, so that should be a fantastic showdown. But again, the eyes of the college football world are on Oklahoma. First at 4 o'clock Eastern, you've got the number 12, 3-0 Utah Utes taking on the number 14, also 3-0 Oklahoma State Cowboys. And then tonight from Norman, Oklahoma, you've got number 6 Tennessee, led by former Sooner Josh Heupel, ranked number 6 in the country, as I said, 3-0, taking on number 15 Oklahoma, also 3-0. It should be a fantastic matchup. I can't wait for both of these games, and I will see you next time on another episode of the Sports Room Talk Show. A salute to you. Raiders, you're on deck.